Okay, hi, I'm Michael John Weber. How's it going? Another day. Okay, so this is a perfect moment, and that's why I'm starting this now. So right here, and that's a cat, obviously. This is my cat, FuzzBall. She's been a really good buddy for me. I've had her for, 10 years now? Yeah, she's a super cool cat. Oh, most cats are. There you go, buddy. Yes, you're cute. Nobody likes you. Okay. The reason why is one of the pieces of fan mail I got, one of the 3 pieces of fan mail I've received over the years. One asked me about certain characters in the storyline that I've been writing for 3 years, and where I got the ideas from. Again, it comes from, and this is why it's relevant to you in writing your project, and not just a brag on my behalf, is, again, it very often comes down to the question, where do you get your ideas from? It seems a lot of people want to write and have no idea what to write, and I'm not sure really how to address that, aside from just giving examples of where I get ideas from. Because me just saying ideas are everywhere and that the real effort is executing them, that's not really helpful. So I realized. But I'm sort of very used to looking for and finding ideas. Quite honestly, I've been doing this since I was very young. Let's put it that way. So, you can't see her anymore. She's camera shy. Again, one of the ideas, where do you get your ideas for? And some of those ideas are characters. And one person specifically, and I don't have it here because I don't have internet, sent me an email saying, well, where did you get the idea for these certain characters? So, the cat you just saw, who is not paying attention to us at this moment, that's FuzzBall. That cat's been really good to me over these years, and one day I was just sitting there staring at her, and I was like, fuck, she's such a good buddy, do you know what I mean? She's cute and awesome, and I'm like, fuck, I should put her in a story one day. And one day while I was writing this current project, I was like, shit, this would be perfect. So I come up with an excuse to literally put FuzzBall in the story. The character in the story looks the same, has the same name, behaves like she does. It's not that, maybe I shouldn't say it's not that hard getting ideas. She's just sitting there. But the idea of using my own cat as a small extra character in my own novels, yeah, maybe that's a little, I don't know, sappy or something. But I just needed an idea. I just happened to be looking at her and was like, fuck, I could put a cat in. Well, why don't I just put her in, and then my brain, it opened up the floodgates of ideas in my brain relative to, well, what would a cat be doing in my story? Why would it be there? What point would it have, etc., etc.? And there my storyteller brain just starts chewing and chewing and chewing. Again, I've been practicing that idea for a very long time. Maybe I'll explain why another time. I'm not sure. I'm just babbling. So there, FuzzBall is a cat in the storyline. As simple as that. And here's the second one. I have a character that's actually become quite big in the stories. I'm not going to get into it. And somebody asked, well, where the hell did you ever get the idea for that? Okay, so one day I was out, buying groceries, I think it was. Maybe we were at a restaurant. Point being, when you go into buildings or restaurants like that and they have 2 doors at the front, and like the inside is heated and protects and blah blah, but sometimes they put like newspaper machines in there or gumball machines or crap like that. Well, wherever the hell it was, I was. Not that was a proper sentence. Wherever I was at the time, I was standing in that little vestibule waiting in line, and I saw the gumball machine thing they had sold little toys. They sold these little string doll guys, so I bust out a toonie. Oh, I'm from Canada, so a toonie is a $2 coin. I'm not going to explain why it's called a toonie, but whatever. So I put in a toonie, cranked the thing, got that little plastic ball, popped it open, and found a toy inside. And it was this little guy right here. Dun, 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 dun. And it's a little, I guess, keychain sort of thing. It's a string doll made of yellow string. He's about as big as my thumb. Yeah, about that. I put a thumbtack there for my own artistic purposes. He's got a little tiny felt heart on his chest. Deedlee. Okay, so I bought this thing for $2. I actually bought another one that kind of looks like the Joker from Batman, but it's this little string doll like this. But this guy, one day I'm sitting here, it was super hot summer, I was just dying, sitting here going, and I'm trying to write a new novel, trying to come up, develop and start and come up with the idea for the fucking novel. And I was like, fuck, I have no idea what to write. I mean, I have an idea, but I have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna write. Oh, man. And so I was just sitting there, again, almost like just sitting there staring at the cat, right? I just happened to look over, and this guy's just hanging, on a shelf, dangling from a hook, right? And he's staring at me with his little eyes. And I was like, I wonder if I could make a little string doll guy as a character. I wonder how I'd go about doing that. And make it not as stupid as it sounds. How could I kind of legitimize it and make a decent character out of it? And indeed, he's one of my favorite characters now to write. He's super adorable to write. He's bigger now. He started off this exact size. This is exactly what he looks like. Started off this exact size. Now in the plot line of this, he's about, I describe him as being 3 apples tall, with a head like a ball of yarn. So that's how big he is now. But he's super adorable, a hell of a lot of fun to write, and super important to the plot line. Again, I tried to legitimize something as ridiculous as this, and that was the challenge. That was the fun of it. How could I make something so trifling into a legitimate character that you would actually maybe feel for and sort of empathize with, root for even, etc. That's kind of the goal of the writer. We want you to feel stuff, right? So there, Michael, where do you get your ideas for the character named Kinlock? Well, that's him right there. Of course, I made a couple additions to his design in the story, nothing major. But that's where I got the idea. For $2, out of a gumball machine while I was waiting in line somewhere. Inspiration's everywhere. The ideas are everywhere. That is literally what I am saying. But perhaps then the chore or the job is maybe training your mind to be looking at the everyday ideas that are absolutely everywhere, and then seeing them in light of storyteller awesomeness. Maybe that's the task. It's maybe not and then that's what I say. It's not that there are ideas everywhere, but executing the ideas is the job, is the problem, is the work. And so I still maintain that statement. But again, an idea like this stupid little string doll out of a gumball machine, that's an idea. It's just sitting there waiting. And then it was up to me, I guess, to be in the right frame of mind to look over at that little guy and go, I wonder if I could not only make that a character, that actually would be kind of easy, but then try my best to legitimize it, to make it sound less ridiculous than what it actually is. A little string guy that's this big really, that's a character. And he saves the day. He's awesome. He really is. He's a great character, in my opinion. I like him. Apparently, one other human being on Earth read it and liked him too. So there, right? But there you go. There is where your ideas come from. Hell, I even use myself. One of my characters has hair like this because I don't know. That's how I saw it. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But and I'm always doing this, always looking for. Well, maybe it makes it sound too active. I'm not actually sitting here going, look, there's a pencil, could I use that? Look, there's a leaf, could I use that? Look, and that would be crazy, and you need to be in a rubber room sort of thing, at least in my opinion. But still, anything that jumps out, anything that you think's neat, anything that you notice or take note of because it's noteworthy in some way, right? those are the, it's like, why did that stand out? Why is that bugging me? Why did I look over at that little stupid toy and think he was looking back at me? I'm not that crazy. I know I sound it, but no, I was just, and then, I wonder if I could do that. And the what if question, that seems to be the birth of a lot of this. Well, I wonder if I could do that. And so on and so on. So yes, those were the two characters that people asked. Oh no, sorry. Oh geez. I guess. Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, just wait right there 1 sec, because there's one more character. The 3 characters on the list: the cat, the toy thing, FuzzBall, Kinlock. There was a 3rd character asked about, named Myfanwy. Give me 1 second. And then we go, and we try not to break anything, because it is big, and I didn't really think this through before I started doing this video. Okay, so this is my walking stick. It is approximately 6 feet long. That's the top end of it. It is a piece of twisted maple. It has this natural space here between its twirls. Yeah, I'm kind of showing off right now, but this is important to the storyline, I suppose, and writing. It's a beautiful thing. I have no idea how Mother Nature pumped this in. I do, but I'm still marveled by it. Again, that's the top end. It whirls, I think, 5 times to a natural hand grip. There's my fist for scale. Then the 2 whirls get very big, and then the whirls stop, and eventually it goes to its end. Again, it's probably 6 feet long, maybe a slightly curved. It's a brilliant walking stick, very sturdy, heavy, a little wide to hold on to, but I walk a lot, and it comes in handy. It really does, having a decent walking stick. So one day I was staring at it, just standing there. I don't know, I was staring at it, daydreaming, and I was like, I can sort of see a shape. When you look at a cloud and you see a shape in it. Okay, so I was looking at this part here, and I noticed how it kind of looks like a woman with her arms wrapped around herself, and this is her waist. That would be her belly button, and this is her leg crossed over her other leg, all twisted and folded up around herself like this. I would be holding on to her, I guess her head or her hair, which doesn't make sense, I know. And then I imagine this being a twist of her long hair long as she would be. And I was like, that's kind of like a fairy frozen in wood, a dryad, a sylph. Again, if you think that's her belly button, I think you'd be able to see it, but I could be wrong. Looking at clouds and seeing stuff in them is subjective, right? So, like an ink blot. But anyway, I was like, fuck, I could do that. I could make a character where she's a fairy, a legitimate fairy. But for some reason, in this world of ours, this is what she looks like. This piece of wood, this walking stick. One of our other characters owns her as a walking stick. And then one day figures out she's actually a fairy frozen in wood like this. So just this thing was found on the beach, growing just on the beach in a town called Crofton, Osborne Bay specifically, just growing there. And yeah, so there's an idea, a very cool one, if you don't mind me saying. I'm kind of proud of it. I don't care for possessions, but that's kind of unique, But sitting staring at it like a writer, and I'm like, that could be a fairy. And now, yeah, there's a character in the story named Myfanwy, a fairy. She's got a whole backstory, man. She's been in, I don't know, at least 3 of the novels, probably more. Main character kind of deal. It's fun writing about a fairy, fun taking my own spin on fairy folk and how that shit works. Blah, blah, blah. Is so much fuel for that creative fire just in that one piece of wood, right? But that's the idea, and then me sitting down thinking about it, that's the execution of it. So it's not every branch I pick up that inspires me to write more novels. Of course not. That's not how this works. But you pick up a piece of wood like that and just think about it as a writer or a storyteller for 5 minutes, and what can't you come up with? How many? There's probably like 20 books just in that one object. You know what I mean? So there's the 3 characters I was specifically asked about. The cat, who is not here anymore, the toy, and the fairy. FuzzBall, Kinlock, and Myfanwy. And that's where I got the ideas from them, or for them. And again, back to the Michael, where do you get your ideas from? Fucking just everywhere. I really shouldn't say it's not that hard, because that sounds unfair of me to say. It really does. But again, I'm used to it. For a very long time, I've been looking for ideas, trying to apply them as a storyteller. So now it's just sort of like a habit. It's second nature. It's like washing dishes. You don't got to think about washing dishes. You just wash them. Hell, you can watch TV while you're washing them. Somehow they get done. You know, that sort of zen in the art of everything. Maybe that's what this is. But yeah. So if it's not that easy for you, then maybe start practicing that. And all you got to do is pay attention. That's really and like I said, anything that just jumps out at you and you're like, huh, that's neat. That reaction to the outside world, like, huh, that's neat. Why did that happen? There's your story. There, like, go look. Say, huh, can I abuse that for a story idea? Is basically what you're doing. And do that with everything. I do it with people, places, things, objects, everywhere. Hell, I'm walking downtown in this little town of ours. I don't even know what I was doing, just life, errands, you know what I mean? And I wander by, it's this tiny, tiny ice cream shop. It's all decorated in the 50s style with the jukebox and the vinyl, chrome, bar stool seating, and all the rest of that. It's really quaint, tiny, tiny thing. And I was like, wow. And I was like, wow, it was so out of place. Hey, look, they got like a 50s malt shop sort of they have in here. This is awesome. Look at that. And it so struck me as being odd in this modern day small town of ours. And I was like, fuck, I should just put that in one of my novels. It'd be cool. Having like a 50s ice cream shop just for no reason. Because I just need a setting. I need 2 characters want to talk. I just need to put them somewhere. So at least let's put them in this cool place. That sort of thing. So, but again, I'm used to that. I'm always passively looking for new ideas. It's just second nature at this point. I don't know if I should keep that. I blame that on playing role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. I know how nerdy all that is, and maybe people make fun of it still. I don't know. I don't talk to people. But yeah, especially being the storyteller of those games. Usually that was the role I preferred, and then there were the players who I served the story to, if you will. But the ability to ad-lib storylines and to react to character actions quickly and seamlessly is sort of a skill that playing those games teaches you when you play something like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. If, your player character is sitting around the table, if they decide to go left and you don't know what left means, what is there, you have to make that shit up on the fly right now. Because the more you hem and haw and ah and look through papers trying to figure it out, it just slows them down. Your players get bored. They're like, what the fuck, dude? That sort of thing, right? So you just got to come up with shit fast on the fly. When you're assuming the role of other characters, you have to come up with their dialogue as best you can on the fly. Indeed, real life is ad-lib. So I don't see why it would be difficult for us. But indeed it is. It's not easy to just come up with a storyline idea like that or a character's dialogue instantly unless you've practiced a lot. And really, that's one of the many things playing and, I suppose, storytelling, things like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, taught me was, again, that skill of ad-lib storytelling. And now I just don't even think about it. Just whenever I need a storyline, it just pops into my head. It really does. I literally will see movies on the back of my forehead, which makes me sound crazy. But that's just how I've always done it for all these years. That's how I do D&D, if you will. Because that was my job as the storyteller or the dungeon master, whatever you want to call it. Was the players would do X, Y, and Z, and I just had to react to it and fill in the narrative as fast as I could for them and make it a tangible, decent narrative, right? Of course, that's the goal, is it should be good and fun for the players, right? So maybe, well, there's an idea. Maybe if you find it hard to find ideas and sources of ideas and applying those ideas, maybe go get into a game of Dungeons and Dragons with some people somewhere, because it really does have that sort of transferable skill scenario. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day, just to babble incessantly. Being a writer of a novel is, when compared to a movie, you're actually fulfilling a lot of roles. It's like a jack of all trades sort of things, in terms of movie lingo. Like, on the one sense, a writer, a novelist is a director. They're also the writer of the thing, like the script writer. They're also each of the characters. So a novelist has to some degree, be like an actor, able to assume the role of his or her characters in that novel and be able to portray them as unique human beings through the lens of your own singular personality. So you're not unlike an actor, perhaps spread thinly over so many characters. Likewise, the novelist is like a set designer who designs the sets, the director of photography who deals with the lighting and that sort of mood of lighting and color. Yeah, a novelist would have to deal with those roles. Hell, even a novelist is like a script supervisor, making sure people say things that the way they're supposed to according to character, maybe saying they're on script, that they're on track, that we're keeping pace to what we need to know, that all the pertinent information is being delivered, while we also just fuck around because the story is not always serious, you know. So I'm not saying a writer, a novelist, is all of these things in one package and is therefore in any way better or greater. It's just that it seems like we're asked to do all these jobs as a novelist, wherein, say, in the movie business, you know, they have the ability to specialize. We kind of have to take on all those roles. So we're not really good at any of them. We don't master any of them, but we are still required to do them. We have to set stages and deal with lighting and deal with dialogue, deal with the direction, storyboarding, etc., etc. is very much like being an entire movie production locked inside your crazy little skull. So I'm not sure why I'm babbling about that. It was just something I thought about the other day. I don't know. I think I just suddenly listened to myself talking and realized I should stop. Yeah, that sounds like a good point to stop. Anyway, so, conclusion. Those were the three characters. FuzzBall the cat, Kinlock the string doll, and Myfanwy the epic cool walking stick. That's where I got the ideas from. Ideas are everywhere, kids. Yep. You just gotta coax them out of this reality and then play with them in your crazy little mind. Predator Michael says so it must be true. Okay, bye. Thank you for listening to me ramble, if you have. I doubt you did, though. Bye.